He went on a National Lampoon vacation as Rusty Griswold, went after Molly Ringwald in 16 Candles, and despite being the brain of the school, served attention with the rest of the Breakfast Club. He's appearing at the Maumee Indoor Theatre on October 3rd. Actor Anthony Michael Hall joins us this morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Amanda. Good to be with you.
You know, National Lampoon's is such a classic, one of my family's favorites. I really was watching it at probably an inappropriately young age, but lots of laughs, great film. And really, it seems like it kind of kicked off your relationship with director John Hughes, right?
That's right. You know, and that's part of why I do this tour. I started doing these about 5 or 6 years ago, right before COVID. And part of it is really to honor John Hughes. I really wouldn't be here without him. He was really instrumental in giving me my career as a kid. When I did Vacation, he had actually written that script, but I didn't meet him on that film. I met him on the 3 films right after that, obviously, and we worked together closely as a kid. So he was a great guy to work for, just a wonderful person and really giving. And yeah, looking forward to coming back to Toledo area.
Yeah, you were here a couple years ago, so welcome back. You know, these films, Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, and, you know, all of these films have such an impact on teenagers and just telling and sharing those stories that everybody can relate to. So what was it like being part of those projects?
Well, it was amazing, you know, shooting The Breakfast Club particularly, because I think there was a lot of messages. It felt very kind of heavy at times, like we were shooting a play. But, you know, all these years later, it's incredible how the film was held up and continues to find younger generations. And I think there's a really strong, powerful message inherent in it, Amanda, which is the sort of anti-bullying message, you know, that we're all more alike than we are different. And I think that that's a very pertinent and important message, you know, in any generation. So I'm very proud of the film, particularly how it's, as I said, how it's held up over the years, you know, and it means something to everybody, I feel. And when people watch it, it's funny. They kind of see themselves in one or more of the characters. So it's really a lot of fun, and it's very significant in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can pick somebody and say, well, maybe I'm a cross between these two, but, you know, these unlikely characters coming together and finding some common ground and, you know, forming those relationships and those friendships in the end. So you're going to be screening The Breakfast Club at the Maumee Indoor Theatre. So what can people expect, you know, when they come out to this?
Sure. Well, what happens is I introduce the film, and it's a real, you know, personal, up-close experience. You know, I introduce the film, we watch the film, and then afterwards I hit the stage and I take questions from the audience and I tell stories from the road, you know, working with John Hughes all the way up to, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween Kills a couple of years ago. I've had a very long career, thank God. So it's really a lot of fun. So I hit the stage, I tell stories, and we take questions, and then there's a meet and greet after at the venue, and it's really a fun event. And the point is to get people back into theaters and to enjoy the experience, and it's very interactive. And it's fun for, I think, all ages, actually. Yeah.
And Maumee Indoor is a great venue. They have really great popcorn, too, so everybody can come in and settle in and have a good time. You know, why is it so important to have that interaction with the audience?
Because I think, you know, everything has become about the phone, and everybody's on their phone all the time, you know, and I think it's just such a great experience. It's one of the gifts that obviously our country gave the world, is the movie-going experience, you know, and I think that, like a lot of people, I love that, and I don't want it to go away, and I think it's a very important thing, and it's just fun to get out there in the community and meet people and enjoy the experience, you know.
Was there a particular character that you've played over the years that you really did identify with and really found yourself in?
I mean, it's funny, when I started out with John, when I did 16 Candles, I don't think there was much acting involved there. I was that kid, you know. I was a 15-year-old little kid, scrawny. I looked about 12 at the time. I used to refer to myself as a bobblehead, you know. I looked like a bobblehead. I think that was very pure, you know, and that's the thing about my experience working with John. When I started with him as such a young kid, he really helped me tap into all those, you know, I guess, natural abilities that I had. And it really wasn't a career yet. It was really just a lot of fun working with him, you know, on those films. So maybe that Farmer Ted thing, yeah.
And as everybody can watch it, as you mentioned, younger generations are finding these films, and it just clicks for them. You know, it doesn't matter that they were filmed, you know, in the 80s, and, you know, yes, we still had phones that had cords on them. You know, all those types of things. You know, we had the library detention for a Saturday. Right. You know, these younger generations can still identify with that. So, do you encourage, you know, all ages to come out to this on Thursday?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I do a lot of signings across the country. Even when I show up at these Comic-Cons, it's a lot of fun. It's amazing to see, you know, people that'll come up to the table will be in their 40s or 50s, and they might have their daughters with them or their kids from college. And as I said, I think that John Hughes films, because he used humor so well, they really continue to find younger audiences. And particularly The Breakfast Club, I think, is interesting, too, because I think it has a lot of meaning and significance for people. So it's really fun to see that. And I do encourage, people of all ages to show up. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that film just is so fun, and the music and all of that even too, and it just really gets to the heart of everybody. So again, this is happening on Thursday, Maumee Indoor Theatre on October the 3rd. So I think it's first come first serve in terms of seating, but there might be a VIP section that people can come in and get some front row seats there.
Correct. I think there's it's mostly almost sold out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's looking good. And also, I think people can go to madhattershows.com. There's a promoter I'm working with, a gentleman named John Payne. So you can go to madhattershows.com or just contact the Old Maumee Theatre. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with me this morning. I appreciate it.
You as well, Amanda. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your stay in the area. Take care.
Thank you, too.
Yep. We'll be back with some more Good Day right after this.